The STEM Society.
Welcome back to the STEM Society. My name is Cole Jackson. I am your culture commentator, your culture critic. I speak all things music, music news, new releases, you name it. You're going to get it here on this show. This is episode 104, and we're live. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Man, what a week. A little bit of disappointing. Yeah, it's a little disappointing this week. I've been wanting to connect with other hip hop or music podcasters, and it just hasn't really been working here recently. I'm currently living in the UK. I live in London, and I would really like to link up with somebody and do some collaborative projects with some other UK music podcasters, but it just doesn't seem to be working out right now. And it's been a bit of a grind, man. So I don't know if it's just because I'm not as experienced or I'm not as big. I'm trying to learn more about the UK rap scene, and one way that I feel like I can do that is actually go and collab with other podcasters. And I would really love to sit in on some of y'all's podcasts and just talk about what's going on in the UK rap scene and also what's going on in the rap scene over in the States. So if you're a podcaster that watches this, I would love to collab with you. I would most definitely like for you to put your links in the comments and let me know how I can get in touch with you and figure out what we can do to collab and do stuff together. I'm really open to sitting down and just talking about music. That is my biggest thing, and I just haven't really been able to get that connection or link up, or I guess people think I'm on some bullshit. So I said, if I say it on the show, maybe it'll come through a little bit better. So if you're a UK podcaster and you're talking about hip hop or R&B or just music in general, please hit me up. There's an email in the description you can use, and I'll be willing to sit down and just kind of collab, man. I just want to do some more stuff. I can't just be doing everything on my own. So I would really like to be able to link up with you guys. So I appreciate the love, and it would be great if we could have a conversation back and forth. Also, this was the week of the Met Gala. I'll be real with y'all. I don't watch that shit for real. Like, that's not my biggest thing. I know a lot of other podcasts were talking about it. There were a few people that I actually seen that I thought were dope. Tiana Taylor, I think she did really great. Now, the theme was Black dandyism, and I think she nailed it. I think Cardi B had a pretty good looking outfit too, and I think, if I want to be real with y'all, Colin Domingo, I think his outfit was fire as hell. Other than that, everybody kind of looked weird. I think people are overplaying their hand when it comes to Janelle Monáe. She always comes with some outside the box type of stuff, but like this shit was like, I'm like, it was okay. It is what it is. I think people just be overplaying their hand when it comes to certain people. Other than that, I really wasn't really watching it that deep. I didn't really think that it was super important because a lot of these people don't really wear like high-end Black fashion houses. I think everybody's like, Louis Vuitton. Well, that's Pharrell's just a creative director there. Like, he don't own that. I would really like to see some of these Black celebrities actually kind of, do deals or do some things, link up with high-end Black fashion houses to be able to show off some of the fashions and what we can do. And there's plenty of them out there. They just don't look them up. They want to be over in Chanel or they want to be in Louis Vuitton, which is cool, bro. But like, when are we gonna start supporting our own people? That's the biggest thing that I've had a problem with. I want to be fashionable, but I want to be able to support my people as well. So that's my biggest thing. I think there was one more thing that I seen too, which was like the whole thing with Central C. It's a conversation going on with Central C and cultural appropriation, which I don't know much about. And that's another reason why I wanted to talk to some of my UK podcasters over here as well. There have been a big conversation about him and cultural appropriation and him taking on the persona of being Black and not really being Black. He showed up to the Met Gala. He had a Black baby in his arms, and everybody kind of went crazy over it. I think ZZ Mills even had a comment, or she made a tweet about it as well. And I only know what I know about from Central C from like certain interviews and his music and the Trap Lord Ross documentary, which um Trap Lord Ross is salacious. A lot of the stuff that he talks about, I think he was blatantly disrespectful with some of the other documentaries he did for some people in the States, but that's another conversation for another time. And I don't 100% believe the stuff that he says in his documentaries, and I don't really like how he portrays a lot of people. So I can't take that. I can only take his doc with a grain of salt. But people really had a problem with him here in the UK of him portraying to be black. I always thought it was mixed, but I could be wrong. But like there was a big conversation about cultural appropriation with Central C. And I just want to learn more about who he is outside of like a Trap Lord Ross video. So I think I'm gonna do a little bit of digging myself. I still enjoy the music. I think a lot of UK rap fans are a little hard on him, especially now since he's a really huge artist at the moment. And some of the things that people are saying to me feels like it's hate because he has overcome a lot of obstacles and he's one of the biggest artists out right now. So I don't know a lot about what's going on. I just think the conversation was just a little one-sided. And I think a lot of people are taking this to an extreme that I don't really like. But again, I'm from the States. I don't know everything that's going on. And I don't know if this man really stole his story from somebody else. So hopefully I can be able to talk to some podcasters to figure that out. But that's all I had for how my week has been. I got a ton of stories. This show is packed with a lot of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the news.
Music news.
Tomorrow is the beginning of Diddy trial, and let me just tell you right now, everything looks messy. Like none of this looks put together correctly. Everything is already a mess. So the beginning of this week, they had the jury selection going on. And they were trying to pick jurors for the trial. They started on Monday. They were supposed to have a jury seated on Wednesday. That never came through. So they actually postponed that to Friday, which that never came through. Apparently, there are people who are very back and forth on the fence about whether they can be a juror on this trial or not, which to me just tells me that I think a lot of these people are scared because they know either too much or they only know about the video, which is the Cassie abuse video that they seen. Now, to think that they're going to have a jury that's going to be unbiased is crazy because this has been one of the biggest things on the news for the past year. And I just personally feel like they're never going to find a jury of 12 people who are going to look at this subjectively. It just ain't going to happen. They're not going to find people to sit up here and look at this man as somebody who didn't beat up their girlfriend, but that's not his charges. If you look up the charges, he's charged with racketeering or RICO. He's also being charged with sex trafficking. And what was the third thing? I got to pull my phone up for this. I got a ton of notes. Transportation to engage in prostitution is the other thing that he's got. That's what he's up for. That's what he's being charged with. Now, the minimum to this is 15 years and the maximum to this is life. This is already going to be a mess. This is already something that he is already played and he's screwed. I don't know if people really know the difference. And I think that's the crazy thing about what they were asking a lot of the jurors. They were asking jurors about if they knew certain celebrities like Michael B. Jordan or Kanye West, so on and so forth. They also asked the jurors during the process if they were okay with looking at sexually explicit stuff on video. They're going to play a lot of these tapes that they actually got from from the raids earlier last year. They're going to try to prove a point. They're going to try to put him down regardless. Do I personally think that Diddy's guilty of something? Yes. Do I feel like he has a good enough team to discredit some of the stuff that the other side's going to do? Possibly. The things that I'm reading right now is Diddy's lawyers just trying to make it look like he is just a freak ass boy. They're just trying to make it look like, hey, my man is a billionaire. He lives this billionaire lifestyle. He has freaky parties and it's all consensual. None of these people are coming in here doing anything that they don't want to do. And if that's the kind of defense that they're going to do, then it may work. Getting a jury to be okay with this dude doing freaky stuff may or may not work in their favor. I'm all over the place when it comes to this case because there's just too many different possibilities. Like on one side, I'm looking into this, the jury is going to always see that Diddy abuse video, regardless. It was all over the place. I don't think there's one media outlet that didn't play it. And even though that's not what he's being charged with, that right there is what they see him as, a monster. For his defense to be able to come up with something outside of that, which I think they're trying to mute that tape as well. I don't know if that's completely correct or not, but they're trying to take that out of play. And I don't think that's going to work, or I don't think that's going to help at all. I think that he is going to, no matter what happens, I think the jury is going to see him as some type of monster trying to beat up on his girlfriend, which leads me to her testifying. Cassie's going to be the star witness, and there's going to be 3 other witnesses that are supposed to testify. Now, we don't know their names yet, and from what they're saying, when I say them, I think ABC News, they're saying that the 3 victims are going to go under a pseudonym or Jane Doe or whatever the case may be, and we won't know who they are until they testify, which I'm very interested to know who they have to testify against him. Again, Diddy's one of those people who have had relationships with a lot of different people. And, Cassie being the star witness, I understand because her name has been thrown out through this whole thing, from the settlement all the way up to through the abuse tape, through everything. Like, I get it why they're doing that. Who else could it possibly be, these other 3 witnesses, to take him down? You get what I'm saying? And are they celebrities? Are these people celebrities? Are these some celebrity? Like, that's the thing. All of this is a really big incestuous mess, because a lot of these celebrities do a lot of shit with each other on a regular basis. Damn near everybody I know that's a black celebrity has been to a Diddy party. I'm just saying. Who could they have found to testify against him, and who could they have found that's going to be brave enough to keep going? Now, it's already rumors out there that's saying one of the witnesses is trying to bow out, or they can't get in touch with him, which is how I feel. Which I feel like is why they didn't give him bail. Diddy has so much control over certain situations without him even having to be there, that I feel like they didn't give him bail because they would be in fear of somebody not being willing to testify. So I get it. I know why they kept him in jail, just to kind of mute his power just a little bit. But now that the case is coming up and people are kind of falling out, it really feels like some of these people who are supposed to testify against him are possibly getting afraid. They don't want their car to blow up like Cuddy's. Which I can understand that. I don't want to get in my car and it blow up either. So during this whole thing, I have a few questions, and I think I might have answered them myself earlier, but I'm going to still ask them because this is a show. That's what I do. Question 1, can people really look past the Cassie video? If you ask me, hell no. I can't look past the Cassie video. No matter what I see Diddy is charged for, all I can see is what he did to that girl in that hotel hallway and him dragging that woman back to that room. Like, I know he's up for a whole lot of other different charges, but he sat up here and told us that shit didn't happen. He was telling us she's lying, and then he did the settlement, and then the video coming out, and then we get the apology. Like, if he sat up there and lied about that situation, why wouldn't he be lying about the sex trafficking and the prostitution charge? That's my biggest thing. Find it to see if you can find a jury to get past that. It ain't happening, bruh. They're gonna see that video over anything and everything. My next question: what celebrities are we gonna see get exposed? Apparently, the prosecution has a ton of videos that they are going to use against him to prove their case. And in that video, there are going to be a lot of celebrities that are going to get exposed. I want to know who's on those tapes and who's going to get exposed, because everybody has been to a Diddy party. This is going to expose a lot of people in the hip hop world. It's going to probably expose a lot of people in Hollywood, like a lot of people who we never thought were going to be out there doing this type of shit is gonna be out there, and it's gonna look real crazy. I'm here for it though. I like the mess. I want to see what's going on. I think Hollywood needs to burn down just a little bit because some of this shit that they've been getting away with has been way too much. So I want to see who's on those tapes and who's going to get exposed and what's the cleanup gonna look like. That's the biggest thing too. Some of these celebrities are gonna have to come out and clean up some of this mess that they was doing on those videos. And I want to see what the cleanup looks like through that whole situation. My third question, will this trial be fair? Now, I know Diddy has done some horrendous things, but when it comes to a trial in America, they say you're innocent until proven guilty and it's supposed to be a fair trial. When you're rich and black, the justice system really wants to make an example out of you. They want to make sure you look real crazy. Again, I'm never going to excuse the things that Diddy has done because what we seen on that video with Cassie was horrible. But I also look at it from a simple fact of if I can't get past that video, I don't think 12 other people can get past that video and actually do something that's fair and just and actually look at what the facts are. Because at the end of the day, that's what we need to be looking at. What are the facts? What has really been done? Which they're going to show on the video. They're going to try to apply a lot of pressure. And these alleged victims are going to come forward and they're going to try to paint this man in a particular way. I don't know if Diddy's going to get out of this one personally. I really feel like he's going to do the time. I think they're going to convict him. He may not get life, but I don't think he's going to get anything less than 20. I don't think he's going to get anything less than 20. We'll see about it. But just being a black man and seeing that another black man on trial like this and knowing what the United States justice system can do when you're rich and the things that they can make up here, I don't think there's hope for Diddy coming out of this trial. I think he's going to get a shit ton of time, and I think we're going to see a lot of people get exposed. Is it hating if I say Bootleg Kev have really horrible interviews? I'm just asking. I feel like I could do better than that. Anyway, Rick Ross ended up on Bootleg Kev's show here recently, and he said he is willing to squash the beef with Drake. Here's a clip. Try not to go to sleep.
Now, you can stop me if I'm wrong. What was the root cause of the falling out with Drake? Was it someone had told me it was because of the way he had treated French on a record? Is that?
I mean, I spoke on that on the record I released. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Cause y'all got classics together.
If it's real, if real is gonna stay real. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Was it something really deep? Nah, fuck that though. But if it's real, it's real. And that's what it is.
Could that ever be something you could ever see, like you guys talking it out? And you guys have so many classics together, such a long history together.
You never know. If a nigga send me a bottle of Luke Belaire, especially the white one, you know, you
the
never
white
know.
Bottle, yeah,
yeah.
The white bottle
go for any of these young niggas out here,
especially if it's a Magnum.
Send me a white Belaire bottle, and I'll take a picture with you because that white Belaire bottle. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, can you break down? Because you know it's so crazy. We talked about that Power Circle record. You've always had such a great ear. One of the greatest ears ever.
So I'm gonna explain this the best way I can and make it as basic as possible. I'm a wrestling fan. Hopefully you guys are wrestling fans too. Edge is what? The ultimate opportunist. That is who Rick Ross is. The ultimate opportunist. There was no real beef between Drake and Rick Ross. Rick Ross seen the opportunity to get in the middle of that, put out a diss track, and actually make a little bit of money off of it. He ain't fooling nobody, bruh. He's got some of his biggest hits with Drake. They wasn't beefing for real. He seen the opportunity to jump in, make some quick money, and get back out. And he kind of got his ass whooped too when he went to Canada. But that's neither here nor there. That beef was never real to me. I never was like, Rick Ross is going to slap the hell out of Drake when he see him. They weren't beefing. Rick Ross is the ultimate opportunist, and that part of the interview just proved it right then and there. And if I'm being real with you, selfishly, I want them to get back together because I love when Rick Ross and Drake make music together. Just like Future. I hope I hope Drake and Future can get back together and make new music. I just find it funny the type of things that people are saying about this, and just the fact that he was on Bootleg Kev's podcast talking about it. It's hilarious. Rick Ross never had any problem with Drake at all. It's just that Rick Ross knows how to make money. It's like he's like this really bad Temu version of 50 Cent. Like 50 knows how to use the internet to go viral and to make things happen for him. And it's like Rick Ross be doing it, but like really cheaply and really chintzy. And it's just fucking funny when you see it happen. These niggas are playing like really high school silly games. I brought this to the show because I just found it funny that people were sitting up here going off on Rick Ross about what he said and how he was backtracking or moonwalking about the whole beef. Catch a clue, everybody. It was never real. These niggas never really was into it. Rick Ross was looking for a quick bag, and that's what he did. He made a quick bag off of a beef that was everybody was entangled into. And yeah, he made a song. He made the White Boy song, which I still think was a pretty funny and good song, diss track. But at the end of the day, there was never a real beef there. And for people who are taking this to the extreme, saying, oh, you should never work with Rick Ross again, believe me, when that new, I ain't gonna say the next Drake album they're gonna work together, but I feel like we'll get a song from them guys by the end of this year, maybe even the beginning of 2026. Who knows? But that beef was never a real thing. Stop taking everything so seriously like all the rest of these people. Y'all are so gun-ho about picking a side, and it's just like none of this shit is real. None of it. BET have made their 2025 BET Awards nominations. The show is going to be hosted by Kevin Hart. It'll be live from LA on June the 9th. Looks like Kendrick Lamar has a total of 10 nominations, including Album of the Year for GNX and Video of the Year for Not Like Us. Then it seems like behind him is going to be Doechii, Drake, and Future, and Glorilla, who are all tied with 6 nominations. And then Metro Boomin has 5 nominations. So it looks like they are setting things up for a very wonderful night. I personally feel like this is the most unimportant award show I've ever seen in my entire life, because this shit is stupid. Nobody takes the BET Awards seriously. I know that came out of left field. Stick with me. I have never in my life said, hey, I wonder how many BET Awards this person has, because they don't. Nobody in hip hop or in Hollywood really takes these awards seriously. Now, I'm saying this because I would like for them to be taken seriously so we can actually have an award show that matters. I live in the UK, and the way that they take the MOBO seriously is how BET should be taking their award show seriously. But they don't. It's going to be a lot of people who's going to show up. It's going to be even more people who don't show up. And it looks like a clown show half the time. They don't put their shit together in the correct way, and it's never taken as seriously as we want them to be taken. It's a clown show. It's not important at the end of the day. Nobody gives the BET Awards the cosign that I feel like they deserve. And I don't even think BET takes the award show as seriously as they should. I don't remember it ever being fun as it used to be back in the early 2000s. And now it's just a joke. For me, the nominations usually equate to please show up, please. Here, Kendrick, you got 10 nominations. Please show up. You're part of the blackity black stuff. And he may or may not show up for it. Drake getting nominated. We know Drake ain't gonna show up to the BET Awards. I can see Doechii possibly showing up, Glorilla showing up, maybe even Future, since he cut his hair off and he looked crazy now. He looked like Wanda Sykes. But at the end of the day, nobody really cares about the BET Awards like they should. They don't take them seriously. They don't look at it as a prestigious award. They look at it as just, let's go be niggas and chill out somewhere. And again, you do have some OGs in the game who go there to try to celebrate blackness. But when has BET ever been one of those places where you can respect the winners of those awards or even the nominations? I looked at the list. It's a fucking joke for me, and how I look at it. they don't even take the nomination seriously. Some of the people who are nominated for certain things don't even have like a real album out. It's just for like songs, or some of the movies, or they have best collaborations. They have just a lot of different nominations that look sloppy and messy, and it just don't amount to nothing. I don't think they even have a committee that put this shit together the right way. I know a lot of people take the BET Awards very seriously, or they look at it just like, oh man, it's a night for blackness. But if the real stars aren't coming to support the show, how real or how true to the game are the BET Awards? We don't even, our biggest and best black people don't even show up for those award shows, even when they're nominated. So how is it that I can take it seriously? They show up to the Grammys before they show up to the BET Awards. They show up to the American Music Awards before they show up to the BET Awards. It's just the fact that it's no credibility behind it. The award show is typically put together in a very raggedy way. The show doesn't flow very well. I haven't had a good experience watching it for a very long time now, and I don't know if people are really serious about watching it. I know when the nominations came up, the timeline kind of went ablaze because Kendrick was nominated for 10 nominations. But if we're being honest with ourselves, they nominate him that many times because they're begging for him to show up to the show. He might show up, he might not. Kendrick will do it for the culture sometimes, but when you're nominating people to beg them to show up to your show, that says a lot about how credible it is and how good it is. So I most definitely am going to watch it to laugh and see what's going to happen on the red carpet. But other than that, I don't take them awards seriously. And I think a lot of people on the other side of this screen don't take them seriously either. Some of the performances are going to be good. I will be there for the performances, but we've had such a shitty year when it comes to dropping music that who going to perform? The Weeknd? He ain't going to be there. I'm here for a Doechii performance, and I'm here for a Glorilla performance. But other than that, who else is gonna show up and do some music? You want to see some old Cardi B songs or some old Meg Thee Stallion songs? And they don't even put new talent in the forefront. Just saying, the showcase is trash. Kevin Hart's probably going to be super funny, and we might get some really good performances. We'll see what happens when everything goes down on June the 9th. Personally, I just probably going to do like everybody else and watch the clips. All right, y'all. That's all I got for this week, man. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Thank you for being a part of the STEM Society. Thank you for being a socialite. If you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. I think 80% of the people who watch this stuff are not subscribed, and it helps me a whole lot if you subscribe and if you comment, and if you like the episode. So I'm just looking for a little bit more support than what I've been getting because I'm trying to grow this channel a whole lot. Being a content creator can be very hard, and it can be very depressing when you don't see your numbers looking good. So please, man, do what you have to do to be able to support the content and support what's going on with what I'm trying to do. I appreciate you guys for showing me love, and appreciate you guys for showing up. I'll catch you next episode. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.